What if I told you that the biggest thing keeping you from your dreams isn't your talent, isn't your resources, and not even divine timing? It's the opinions that you keep listening to that are not even yours. Most people will not understand your vision. They're not going to understand this twin flame journey, and they have no idea what it is you're going through. And that's exactly why you have to stop listening to them. Because I know for a fact, had I listened to others, then I wouldn't even be sitting here today sharing this message with you. Hello and welcome. For those of you that I haven't met yet, my name is Dr. Harmony, and those of you returning, welcome back. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know when all my videos and content come live. And just so you know that I've started moving the day around to see what's the best day of the week. And so far, it's looking like Fridays is going to be my consistent day to post content. And again, make sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. That way I know that I'm creating content that you enjoy. So today we're going to talk about 3 truths that you need to come into an alignment with yourself and trust yourself so that you can tune out the noise of other people. And that can be hard sometimes, especially if you know that there's something deep inside of you that you need to be in alignment with. And what's happening is you're questioning it and you're pulling yourself away from the idea that you can trust that inner voice, not the voices around you. And I'm going to give you an example of something that I've experienced just in the last week. Well, actually, it's been going on for a while, but it was brought to my attention in the last week of something that I did that I didn't even realize how big it was until I went back to redo it. So just to give you an example of this, a lot of you knew I'd moved to Sedona to do land journeys, retreats, healing work. And to do that in the vortexes and take people into the land, the majestic space that really activates you on such a high level. To do that, though, based on the rules, the regulations, I had to have permits for that. And so whenever I got to Sedona, knowing that I would check all that out, I had no idea the extent of that and how hard it actually was. And people told me over and over and over that it was too complicated and that you have to know this person, you have to know that person. To me, it felt very limiting. It felt like going through these hoops through other people, and that would be controlling my plan, my destiny, my ability to step fully into my own empowerment and my own purpose without having to go through all these hoops of other people. And then people didn't think that you could even get a permit unless you went under somebody else's permit. But one of the things I did then was I decided to go straight to the source. And this is where a lot of times we get stuck on these things, because what we do is we take other people's opinions and what they think and what they say is truth as our own truth. And the reason I'm saying this and sharing this with you is because this is an example that is, like an easy example to think about. On the flip side, this is happening unconsciously that you're not even aware of it's going on, because you've created these programs that I'm talking about by running through the process of allowing others to have dictated to you what you can and can't do. For instance, me, I just really believe that when you're in alignment with your soul, that anything's possible, but you have to believe it's possible. And not only do you have to believe it and come into your own truth of that, you also have to take some action, do some due diligence for yourself to make sure that you are getting the facts straight. Because, when people start talking about things that they believe that have been passed down from other people, then it's all watered down and it's not even fact. It's not even truth anyway. Even if they were trying to tell you the truth, it's got manipulated. So just don't pay attention to what other people are saying. So what ended up happening for me in that scenario was that I decided, like I said, to go straight to the source and find out what the real rules were, and found out the pros and the cons, the limitations, but yet not limitations, the red tape that I had to go through, all the things that I had to present to them that provided the protocol for me to show up in the space, and what trails am I going to use, and what days am I going to do this on. And just, it was a lot. I literally sent in about 1.5 inches worth of paperwork that was an application, but all the documents that I had to provide for that. So, that's another thing about this to think about. Basically, what I did was took what I was told couldn't be done, and I did it. So in your purpose, in, this twin flame journey, even having the twin flame, also think about that. It's too complicated. You can't have a twin flame experience because it's all work and it's all hard, right? Well, a lot of this is perception. And what do you believe in all of that? And then also, again, letting go of attachment to outcomes and just knowing that you're showing up and doing your part and connecting to the idea of what it is that you believe you can do in your own truth, and then take some action in it. So needless to say, after about 5 months of due diligence and 5 months of research and working it almost daily and getting all of that put together, I submitted it. It had to get approved. It had to go through signatures. But after about 5 months, I got my permit that people told me I couldn't have. So granted, there are a few things about what I'm telling you with that are a little different from what the other people had, but it was not impossible. I got a version of what I needed for what I needed. Now, with that being said, that was my 2024 permit for a season, and I operate kind of seasonal there in Sedona. So when it came time, now I'm into 2025, I got the retreat coming up in April 24th through 27th, which, by the way, check out the link below and above, because it's going to be so powerful, and we're going to be really helping you identify and remember that you are worthy, helping you remember who you truly are so that you can show up in this space of owning your truth, owning your ability to stand up, speak up, and show up for yourself in a way of this higher version of you that doesn't allow these limitations and this lack of other people to be robbing you of who it is you truly are. So I was prepared to have to go through that entire process again. And I made a phone call just a few days ago to find out how I reapply. So all I have to do now is email my dates and updated insurance information. And they say, once you're in, you're in. So that being said, I'm in. And what took me 5 months, I did in 5 minutes. And so now going forward, it's like, now I feel really good because I feel like the doors are open. I feel like I've got year 1 under my belt of how and to operate and do all these different things. And now going forward, it's just going to be, more ease, grace, and flow. And I didn't let other people's thoughts, feelings, emotions, and opinions dictate what it is that I was able to do. The truth number 1 is no one else can see your vision. No one but you truly knows deeply within yourself what your soul's calling is, what your dreams are about this. They weren't given to them. You're the one that was given this God-given vision, and only you then can really execute that. So it's so important to you to learn to stay in alignment with what it is that your inner voice is speaking to you, and you showing up in a place of purpose and aligned action and inspired action. And what inspired action really means is that you show up from a place of not thinking you have to get something done, because if you don't, you're going to lose out on something. But you show up inspired to know that, like I had, that was inspired action that I took. I showed up knowing that I had a calling in me. I didn't move all the way to Sedona to not get a permit and not do land journeys. I knew that, okay, well, let me find out what the rules are. Let me take some action. Let me put into it without fully having this sense of like outcome or attachment, just knowing and trusting that it would evolve in the perfect timing. But that being said, the perfect timing was that I got to choose how I showed up in it and didn't let the voice of other people rob me of what I came there to do. And I'm going to give you another good example of this. Okay, so think about Oprah Winfrey. She was told by her grandmother that one day you're going to work for some good white family, right? And that was the highest vision for her that her grandmother could see based on what she had went through. And we're all clearing this lineage of the bloodline. And so we have to know that our vision is given to us, a God-given vision that is out there for us to catch the wave of it, us to get in alignment with what it takes to show up as that person, to live that truth within our own self and our own lives. But just imagine if Oprah had listened to her grandmother, think about what she would have missed out on in those limiting beliefs, and instead of following her own vision. So I think about this in my own journey, and a similar process as I move beyond the identity of being a chiropractor into a transformational teacher. Some people told me, well, just go back to being a chiropractor. That's what you went to school for. You can make money doing that. But, like I said in my book, Twin Flame Codebreaker, they didn't understand. In that scenario, why the hell did I give up a 12-year practice in order to shift into what I knew was my ultimate calling? And I didn't want to go backwards in that. I wanted to keep going forward, and it felt limiting to go back to what was familiar as being a chiropractor, knowing I could hustle for my masculine side and I could get it done and I could make some money. But on the flip side, that wasn't the highest version of me. And I got to tell you, I'm going through something similar to that now and still being put to the test, and being able to know that, those codes I left myself from that message in Twin Flame Codebreaker when I wrote about that, which, by the way, an audiobook for that is about to launch probably mid-March, and I'll make sure to let you know. So I've been listening to the edits for the audio version, and this information is coming back around to give me my own key codes, so to speak, and the message that I need to hear where I'm at to remember that I don't have to go backwards to the familiar just because I don't see things yet. I trust and know I've made these decisions and I'm moving in this direction that's going to take me and align me with my highest path. So the second truth is fear of judgment is a distraction. And most people live in fear, and they allow the projection of other people onto them to create doubts within them. I got to tell you something interesting. So I know this, and I've done this, and I've said this, but I was talking with a friend just this week about how she was seeing the things she didn't want in her relationship. And I reminded her that what you see in him is actually what you're creating from him. And if you want things to be better, different, more like you want them in your life and in your relationship with him, then you need to be focusing on just the things that you see in him you want. Because by you putting the intention and the projection into what you don't want with him, then you're creating more of what you don't want through him. And if you want him to change, then you need to see him change. And that is so important on this twin flame journey to, one, move beyond the person. But the second thing in that is to look at this as a process in yourself and to let go of the outcomes and don't attach to anything specific, but to know it's all happening for you, not to you, and then for you to really know what you want in this journey, even in a relationship, and to focus on that, and that's what you will end up creating. And so I want to really give another example of this that's so powerful. So Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, she didn't tell anyone about her business idea for a year, not even her family. Why? Because she knew that they wouldn't get it. She knew that they couldn't see the vision she had. She knew that they would project their fears onto her. And today she's a billionaire because she didn't let other people's opinions and the noise outside of her block her. And so this is what I even have told people. And I've even found this in myself. And if I don't want other people's energy in my experience, I have learned to just not tell people about what's going on in my life either until it's done. One of the big major lessons I've been learning out of this is that there's no need for over-explanation. You don't need to explain anything to anyone. You don't need validation. You don't need to show up justifying why you do or don't do what you do. Okay? So this is your path. You don't need to doubt yourself. So in this moment, I highly recommend you just stop explaining and start living your own truth. And then everything's going to shift in alignment with that. So the third truth is the universe rewards aligned action. And when you act from faith instead of the fear, doors open. Trust your soul, take a leap of faith, and know that you don't exactly know what's going to happen, but you know that your wings are going to work, right? You know that when you show up in that place that you're so confident in who you are and your own truth and your own trust, your intuition and your own path and your own vision. There's the saying in the Bible is, when there's no vision, you perish. And so most people don't know what the vision is. And because you don't know what the vision is, you don't even know the action you're taking towards the vision. So you need to get really super clear and specific on the vision, and then you need to take aligned action towards the vision. And as I say that, it reminds me of Jim Carrey, where he once wrote himself a $10 million check for an acting service rendered. And at that time, he was broke, but he kept visualizing it. He kept taking the action and going out there and, showing up for auditions. And he finally landed a movie deal that, you guessed it, $10 million, right? And of course, we're human. I personally have even had and can still have those moments where fear can creep in. But it's not about where you put your attention. It's the intention behind it that means everything. The energy behind it is to what you put into the action that you're taking. Are you taking the action out of fear? Or are you taking the action in the belief that everything's going to be okay? That's more of an aligned action, is having a vision, to also knowing in that vision that there's a soul calling in it, there's divine timing, divine alignment, and that it's you that is assigned to this, and it came here to experience this and to show up and do this, because that's how we're the extension of God in the universe, of energy and form, to where we're bringing and manifesting to life this energy. And if it's not you, who? And if it's not now, when? Really think about it. When? What are you doing sitting there not taking action for, that's keeping you stuck because you're either listening to other people, or you're not listening to your inner voice, or you're letting the unconscious programs just run and run and run. So if that's you and you've been feeling stuck and you're waiting for permission, or you're doubting your next steps, I'm telling you, this is your sign to stop listening to that noise and start trusting yourself. And if you'd like to fully step into that power and align with that higher truth and self and take a quantum leap and do it on a fast track, then please join me in Sedona for the Soul Remembrance Retreat. And again, that's April 24th through 27th, and it's on early bird. There's 3 early bird spots left. So you'll find the link to learn more about that in the description below and the link above. So drop it in the comment below, because I want to hear your story too. I want to know I'm not alone, and others want to know they're not alone. And the more we engage here, the more connection we create, and the more we come together, where the power of 2 or more is greater than 1. So make sure to engage in the comments below and let me know where you're at on your journey. And if you've enjoyed this video and you've learned something from it, please give it a thumbs up. It really does promote the channel. And I look forward to seeing you next week. May you always face your fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire.
Close till I get up. Time is barely on our side.